Here at EV Pulse, we understand the need to not only electrify retail fleets, but commercial fleets as well. One of the lowest hanging fruits for commercial fleet electrification is the commercial van market. We've spent extensive time in Ford's e-Transit and recently spent some time in the Mercedes eSprinter. Now we get a chance to have our first look at the EV option from Ram, the 2024 Ram ProMaster EV. Let's check it out and see what it's about. The ProMaster is available in two different configurations, a delivery van setup like this one is, and a larger cargo van configuration. The delivery van is good for a little over 2,000 pounds of payload. The cargo van is good for a little over 3,000 pounds of payload. While this one is configured, as you can see, as a delivery van with a nice walk-in sliding door, you can get this configured any way you want through your local Ram ProMaster upfitter. So whatever your business needs are, you'll be able to set this van up just like you would the gas-powered ProMaster. Up front, there is ample space because this is a one-seat configuration. So as a delivery driver, you could stack some boxes for your next delivery without having to go into the back. There is a bulkhead that has a door so the driver can get from the front to the back easily. And there is even a jump seat so that if you have a trainer with you or it's the holiday season and you need extra help doing deliveries, that is an option. Now, let's take this Ram ProMaster EV out for a drive to see how it compares to the other electric vans on the market. Now that I'm behind the wheel of the ProMaster EV, there's a couple of things that I'd like to note. First off, it's going to be pretty loud in here. There's no sound deadening in a lot of commercial vans. And additionally, there is no weight in the back of this van. So you're going to get some sound from the bulkhead, you're going to get sound from the doors, but also the suspension and stuff is going to kind of bounce around a bit. In our eSprinter video that we shot recently, that came with 450 pounds of weight in the back. And that was solely for ride quality or ride comfort. These vans are typically very stiffly sprung because you need to be able to carry a lot of cargo in them, and sort of as a result, they don't ride well unless there's some weight in there. You can watch that video by clicking the link in the description box or up on top of the screen. Acceleration is quick enough. Now, as you add weight, of course, that'll slow down. But I think the bigger thing to talk about is overall range. Now, without any cargo in it, sort of a best case scenario, Ram is saying roughly 174 miles of range. Now, what they're quoting now, though, in their most recent material is actually testing done at half cargo capacity. So this van, which should be good for roughly 162 miles of range at half payload. So why does Ram test at half payload? Why does Ford test at half payload? That's because in a delivery van situation, the van will leave the depot or the Amazon warehouse or whatever first thing in the morning at maximum payload. It'll be completely, absolutely 100% completely full, and then at the end of the day it'll be completely empty. So you average those two things out, guess what you end up with? Half capacity. So the cargo version will do 164, the delivery version that we're in will be a little bit less. The delivery version you'll be able to order now, and the cargo version with two proper front seats instead of the jump seat situation will be available starting early next year. Overall, driving impressions experience, once you get past the noise of the bulkhead in the cargo area, it does feel like a modern Stellantis product in here. I'm looking at a digital instrument cluster, I'm looking at Uconnect, I'm looking at buttons and steering wheels and everything that looks very familiar. The one thing that I have never cared for about the ProMaster vans, and it carries over here, is actually the driving position. Now, maybe for cargo drivers every day, having the school bus operator position is more comfortable. Maybe it makes it a little bit easier to get in and out, ingress and egress. However, I don't like making it feel like I'm driving a school bus. Transit and e-Transit have much more of a car driving situation. Though the Rivian Electric does also kind of simulate this. So it probably is the e-Transit's the odd one out, but I do prefer driving that over the ProMaster. And I think that if I had to spend a lot of time in it, I think I'd be happier with the e-Transit over the ProMaster. All the safety features that you would expect are available here. Level 2 ADAS, automatic emergency braking. There's a rear view camera, which is actually great because if I were to turn that off, I can't see anything behind me. So that greatly improves visibility. You can get it with a 360-degree camera view. Everything you can get kind of in a modern car, you can get in a modern van. And fleet owners, a lot of fleet operators want that, because downtime, not only with maintenance and repairs of the vehicle, but downtime with injured employees costs money. So if you can spend a few extra bucks up front to prevent the van from getting into a crash, you're saving much more money long term than you would be cutting that option at the beginning. I do like this delivery van configuration. It has a nice roll-up door in the back, similar to what Rivian offers, and you can walk in and out of it without having to duck your head, which again, if you're doing that all day, is fantastic. I like this one-seat configuration up front. I like there's a driver door, but a big sliding passenger door that reminds you a little bit like a UPS truck or the Rivian van. And even the place where the phone charger is stored here is very similar to where Rivian puts its phone charger in its electric delivery van, which is where you would grab it as soon as you're coming out. So if you're somebody that needs to scan a package as soon as you get up from the seat, just stand up, grab, and you're already on your way. So the van in this delivery configuration is, they've thought through the ergonomics on this in a way that really I've only seen with the Rivian van. So I would compare this directly to that in most situations. I think the Rivian will get a little bit farther of a range. I think the battery's a little bit larger than the 110 kilowatt hours in this, but that's what I view sort of the direct competitor. And considering that Amazon buys the heck out of, well, all sorts of vans, including the Rivians, this probably would be a nice drop-in alternative for Amazon if they couldn't get all the Rivians they needed. The E-Transit doesn't come in this sort of configuration. So while it may get a lot of delivery van usage, it's ergonomically inefficient for this particular process. Ram specifically says they're targeting these last mile delivery type of situations with this ProMaster EV. Because you can get a gas version, a perfectly good gas version, and that would be for situations where you can't use this. When it comes to charging, most people are going to charge at the depot at the end of the day. That will support up to 11 kilowatts on a level 2. You can DC fast charge this. It has a CCS connector, and it's actually good for up to 150 kilowatts of peak charging, which is more than both the E-Transit and the eSprinter. Ram quotes a 20 to 80% DC fast charge time on a 150 kilowatt charger at 55 minutes. I don't know why they don't quote 10 to 80%. They didn't quote 10 to 80% on the Wagoneer S either. I have a feeling they like the number 20 to 80% better. But if you were to stop for lunch or something like that, you could add real world range while you're sitting, on your lunch break. Though, realistically, and most real world testing has proven this out, that range you leave with in the morning will be more than enough to cover your whole day. Because you're not driving a lot of miles. You're doing a lot of stop and go driving, but that's it. And it should also be noted too, speaking of stop and go driving, when I talk about the range being 160 to 170 miles in this, that is a quoted 50% payload number and city driving. So that's factored in a lot of stop, go, quick accelerating, braking. Obviously, stop and go traffic benefits EVs with the regen braking. Ultimately, this is a Ram ProMaster powered by electricity. I really do think that it is a direct comparison to the Rivian EDV, and less so the eSprinter and E-Transit. With a starting price at roughly 80 grand, it's not cheap. The Ford definitely has a lower starting price and available in way more options. You can get it with a short, medium, or long length bed. You've got different roof heights, things like that. The delivery version of this comes with only the one roof height, which is the one you want. It's the one you can fully stand up in the back, and only one sort of like vehicle length. The cargo version will then be something different. So if you want the most flexibility, you want the E-Transit. If you want probably the best delivery van experience, you probably want this ProMaster between the two. If you're thinking of adding this green van to your commercial EV fleet, plan on spending at least $79,990 with delivery, though it is eligible for the full $7,500 green commercial EV fleet tax credits. That pricing puts it a little bit more expensive than Ford E-Transit in most configurations, and about right on par with what you would expect from a Mercedes eSprinter. To learn more about that Mercedes eSprinter, click on the pop-out link right over here.